listening to The Breakfast Show on Faith FM with Skafy and Lawson. This is our third hour, Lawson.
Yeah, mate, we're here.
And we are going to be talking about a lot of things here. I have a Bible study on the book of Joshua. We're finishing that up. And of course, we have quiz questions, we have answers, and we just wanted to also say a big thank you to everyone on the text line that were letting us know that we were having some cracklings happening in our way here. So we are trying to fix that up. But a more permanent solution might be coming tomorrow.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully we'll get it solved this afternoon. And tomorrow's show will be back to normal. So, yeah, we are sorry that there's going to be some dropouts every once in a while when the crackle gets bad. But we're just trying to get back online without that crackle for you. Let's have a quiz question, shall we?
Let's do
Mate,
it.
I'm here. I'm ready.
All right. I think this one's our most challenging one of the day.
Okay.
With which of these stories is the word love first used in the Bible? Okay.
I know already. You
I
don't
know,
even need
yeah.
the...
All right.
the answer.
Let's see.
Okay,
Write it down.
Can you just give me the options? Because then
I'm going to wait until Skafy gives me the answer first,
Okay.
and then I will. But the number here is 0491-064-669. And we have an incorrect answer in the studio from Skafy. Okay, our question.
Okay. So let's
Here
get
we
into
go.
multiple choice.
Here's our multiple choices. That is one of them, though, Skafy. So
Okay, so I have an advantage.
that's right. Okay, was it A, Adam and Eve, B, Abraham and Isaac, C, Isaac and Rebekah, or D, Jacob and Rachel? We'll have another incorrect answer in the studio. So that was the same one that Skafy had sent through. We've got the correct answer now from him because he is, yes, all right, 2 correct answers.
we know.
But you had to get rid of one first. I
Yeah,
guess.
that's right.
Okay. 0491-064-669. You needed the 50-50 or the call a friend option there,
That's
didn't
right.
you guys?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. That question one more time. With which of these stories is the word love first used in the Bible? Was it A, Adam and Eve, B, Abraham and Isaac, C, Isaac and Rebekah, or D, Jacob and Rachel?
Yes, now it's ringing the
Who
bell
said
here.
it?
It's ringing the bell.
Yeah. Hey, if you know the answer, 0491-064-669. That is the number to text. And on the text line, actually, David wrote in and he says it's in Genesis 22. And that's literally, I'm like, I know it's Genesis 22. I just couldn't remember which story was there. But we got there in the end. We know it. Do you know it? In the text line, wherever you are, in your car, in your home, on the train.
Doing your Vilpas.
Yeah. Yeah. It's walking up and down a set of stairs 4 times, to get your 1 minute of Vilpa in.
Running after your bus.
Yeah, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Would smashing the bus window with the bus window smashy thing, if it gets into a crash to escape, does that count as a Vilpa?
No, I don't think so. But if instead of catching the bus on your usual bus stop, as soon as the bus comes, you start like running after the bus and you catch the bus in the following stop, that definitely counts as a Vilpa.
Wow.
Probably counts for all of your Vilpas for the day.
Dude, if you're running after the bus for an entire, if you're in like the middle of the city and you're chasing after it, like maybe from like tram stop to tram stop, I can see how that's a possibility. But like, dude, if you're in the middle of the country and you had to chase that thing for like 5 kilometers up the road to like the next rural town, I don't think that's happened.
No, it's a bit way. It's supposed to be not too long. It's like
That's
1
right.
minute.
That's you go from a Vilpa to a
But you can run from your
Something
house
more
to
than
the
that.
bus station.
yeah. Did you know? For me, that's like
I used to do that actually when I was in Brazil.
that would be probably less than a Vilpa for me because there is a bus stop literally in front of my house.
Oh, really?
Like,
look,
I'm on the bus stop door.
I'll
front.
tell you a story. When I was living in São Paulo,
Uh-huh.
and I was working for an investment banking firm there. The bank from my house, the distance was about 3.5 kilometers.
Okay.
In 3.5 kilometers, guess how much time did it take me to get there by car if I was just driving?
I don't know, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
45 minutes.
45
About
minutes?
45 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes because
Why?
like,
You're in the middle of the city or something?
middle of the city and like the traffic in São Paulo is like, it's the next thing. If you ever got
Notoriously
stuck
bad.
in the traffic in Sydney, Like, this is child's play
Yeah. Okay.
next to the traffic in São Paulo. So
Okay.
I realized that if I ran to work, it would take me about the same time.
45 minutes.
Yeah, not even like running, just like power walking to work would take me about 40 minutes.
So you do that instead?
Yeah, I decided to do that instead.
Wow. Oh,
So
that's so
that was
fun.
a big Vilpa.
But what if you just wanted to like sit in the car and hang out, you know, like you just,
Hang out in the traffic
Hang
and
out,
stop
you know,
and
say
go and stop and go,
hello, you know.
stop and go. Yeah.
hey, what's up guys? You know, I'm literally thinking of
I
doing
was
that.
much better off, like, inhaling all of these toxic fumes from
Yeah.
the cars, but at least getting, some exercise
Mate,
done.
it's giving me indigestion from the stress of thinking about just sitting in traffic for that long, bro.
It's like to literally drive like 3.5 kilometers.
In 45 minutes. Yuck. Ew.
When there was no traffic whatsoever, it's like, 5 minutes.
Have they done anything to solve this, or is that just the lot of Sao Paulo?
Yeah, they have.
They've done something to solve it? Has it solved it?
They lowered the price of cars
They lowered the price of cars.
so that people could buy more cars and get even more stuck in traffic. So the short answer is no, they haven't
No,
done
they haven't done
anything.
it. Okay. I'm like, wow, that's a really innovative. That's a,
Yes,
so
they have installed like MP3 radios in cars now.
you
And
can pass the
Bluetooth, so
time.
you can listen to something.
Sure. Okay. I was thinking like what you're about to say. It's like a really innovative answer. When people talk about like the 4-day work week or the 4-day school week, and it's like actually, if you do less work, you get more productive. No. They lowered the price of cars and now everyone's just stuck in traffic together. Yeah, they made it a communal experience. It's part of the culture.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. There you go. Part of the car, 2 hours stuck in traffic every day, no matter where do you live.
Braden wrote in, he said, my current commute to work is 80 kilometers. I don't think I could walk or run that one. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a
No,
Vilpa to me.
but-
I mean, if you're an ultra marathon runner,
No, you could ride your bicycle there though. 80 kilometers, it's doable.
yeah, it's doable. But even 80 kilometers, like,
But you'll
if
be
you're-
like
okay,
you'll be like an
sitting-
Iron Man.
Sitting on 30 Ks an hour for 80 kilometers, and 30 Ks is good pace.
160 Ks back and forth is like Iron Man vibes.
That's like an Iron Man cycle.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe not the bike. I'm not feeling it.
But I'll tell you what you could do, Braden. You could potentially park your car about 3-4 kilometers away from your house, from your home, and then you jog your car and back. There you go. It's like-
Wait, I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe 3 or 4 kilometers away from work, but like, why? It's like garage is empty because your car's like next to the park
you know what you
somewhere.
could do?
You're like running there in the morning. I hope that it's there.
Or what you could do is like, instead of taking the easy way to your car and just getting to their garage, like, you leave your house, you turn left and left again to your garage, turn right instead, go around your block and get into your garage by going to the wrong distance, the wrong area from your block. So you get a, 5-minute walk.
Little Vilpa, little 5 minutes of Vilpa there
Yeah, there you go. You're just trying to figure out how to add some Vilpas.
to your life right now. Dude, I still can't get over what you said. Yeah, just park your car 4 kilometers away from your house.
But I'll tell you this though, you can do that, but for real, you could do that, and I think I'm going to do that. I think
Park your car
but
4
no,
kilometers away
not
from
from
your
your
house.
home, but
From your workplace.
From your workplace.
Yeah.
Instead of parking to
Yeah.
that like sweet spot, just as close to the door as you can, why not parking like nice and far away so you can get like a nice 1-minute power walk?
Yeah, I agree. But dude, like, I'm going
I'm going to count. What is a 1-minute power walk from
my
the
car
studio?
is, I can see my car through the window. It is probably like 10 to 15 meters away from where we're sitting. I kind of love having a prime spot. Like it's it's pretty good to be close. I mean, I could park my car there and do a lap around the building, and then before we come in for radio in the morning. Hey, you're listening to the Breakfast Show here on Faith.
What are we going to study today?
And we're going to be having a look at Joshua dealing particularly and specifically with the tribes that actually didn't cross. That didn't cross the Jordan. Now, we're speaking here we're going to be in Joshua 22. So this is where we're going to be spending the majority of our time. And in Joshua 22, so we're post really a lot of the conquering that was done in Joshua. And Joshua has a bit of a meetup, a bit of a chat with the Reubenites, the Gadites, and half of the tribe of Manasseh. So do you want to pick it up for us in verse 1? And we'll just start reading through and getting acclimatized with Joshua and his chat with these specific tribes of Israel.
Okay, and the Reubenites here, we're talking about the tribe in Israel, not the famous sandwich.
What?
Yes. Don't you know there's a famous sandwich called the Reuben?
No.
Yeah, well, there is.
What is it made of?
Oh, I don't know. It's never had it, but I know.
Yeah, okay. But there is one. There's a famous sandwich called the Reuben. I've never heard of it. But how famous is
I
this
make
sandwich?
a really good Reuben.
You make a good
do you?
Reuben?
It's
Okay,
got
what makes it?
pastrami in it, so I don't use
Yeah.
that.
on you.
But I make a fake pastrami out of celery.
Okay.
Oh, yum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a corned beef, Swiss cheese, sauerkraut, and a Russian dressing or a Thousand Island dressing. So basically like a
corned beef.
glorified
I thought it was
toast.
pastrami, but one or the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could do that like a plant-based version.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'll be yum.
Mate, chuck some chips in
Yeah.
that thing. Boom.
But we're not talking about that
that's
Reuben.
Not a Reuben.
Oh, make it crunchy. Make it crunchy or make it soft if it's hot chips. I
Put
don't
some
know.
nice pickles in there. That's
Yeah.
going to give it a
I
nice
love pickles on a
crunch.
sandwich.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Reubenites, not the Reuben fans. This is the Joshua summoned the Reubenites and the Gadites
Yes.
and the half tribe of Manasseh
Uh-huh.
and said to them, "You have kept all that Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you, and have listened to my voice in all that I have commanded you. You have not forsaken your brothers these many days to this day, but have kept the charge of the commandment of the Lord your God. And now the Lord your God has given rest to your brothers." He spoke to them. "Therefore turn now and go to your tents, to the land of your possession, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you beyond the Jordan. Only be very careful to observe the commandment of the law, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you, to love the Lord your God and walk in all his ways, and keep his commandments, and hold fast to him, and serve him with all your heart and with all your soul." So Joshua blessed them and sent them away, and they went to their tents.
Okay. Why is Joshua having this conversation with them? Why these 2.5 tribes specifically does he need to support, in this way? Does he need to encourage and affirm regarding what they've done?
From what I remember from that story, that happened in the days of Moses. They haven't yet crossed the Jordan, but they started to cast off some of the tribes of the Canaanites that were there.
Sure.
And the Gadites and the Reubenites, they had lots of herds.
Yeah, yeah.
And they look at that land and they're kind of saying, "Hey, look, Moses, excuse me, sir, but we were thinking here, we're looking at this land and there's some pretty good pastures here. We think we could actually settle here instead of having to cross the Jordan and doing all these things. And can we have that land for us? Could you give that one to us?" And Moses says, "Look, okay, with one condition. You can have that land if you're satisfied with what you're having now, that's fine. But as long as you commit to help out your brothers fight the fights that are beyond the Jordan."
Yes.
And the Reubenites and the Gadites, and half of the tribe of Manasseh said, "Look, we're happy with it. Mm-hmm. We're happy to it. We don't want this land as an excuse to say, hey, let's just, celebrate our early victories and stop." And it's kind of like, let us retire after our first goal in the World Cup. So look, we're going to be with you guys all the way in.
Yeah.
But he sincerely and genuinely just loved that land.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what you're saying. And Moses, Joshua here is giving them an encouragement, an affirmation for this. And he's sending them back across the Jordan. So sending them back to the other side of the Jordan to go back to their lands. These men, these Reubenites, Gadites, and half of the men of the tribe of Manasseh that came with them, they've been away from their families and their homeland for up to this point. The conquests of Joshua up until this point has been about 6 years in the making until this point right here. This wasn't like 1 month and boom.
Wow, it's a long time.
It's actually quite a significant amount of
But
time.
it's not that they haven't, because there's some wars where people are fighting nonstop
Yeah.
But you know how in this day and age, at least what the modern military doctrine says, like, look, no soldier can fight indefinitely. So there are
Sure.
times where you're supposed to either rest in the far from the enemy lines before you can come back.
Sure.
That has happened all the time. In Ukraine it happens. And I'm wondering here, because they're not far from Israeli camps here. Wouldn't they be coming back and forth to visit their families in between campaigns?
Yeah, great question. Look, the Bible doesn't outline that. It doesn't say.
Yeah.
It doesn't give us the information. And we also know that this was these times of war that like they were continually pressing on and coming to these different fortifications and whatnot and fighting against them. The Bible doesn't tell us whether they went back or not, and so we can.
But even if they did as
assume
well,
they did.
Yeah, but even if they did, the thing is, when you are in war, like your mindset just changes. Your brain is in that war mode. It can't really fully relax.
Yeah, absolutely. And so ultimately, like this is finally now, you could imagine, like if you, let's pick a different tribe, Ephraim, for example, because we talked about Ephraim recently and some of the, we actually talked about them in the story of Gideon and some of the amazing diplomacy that Gideon, used.
Yes.
But let's say a tribe of Ephraim, the tribe of Ephraim, they're like fighting and, they'd have some kind of fight, some battle, some war, whatever. But like, their house is up the road. They can actually travel home. Whereas even if they could get back across the Jordan to meet with their families, like it would be some endeavor. And so to me, it would be like this would be happening less often than for the regular soldiers, even if at all. And this is kind of the point, is Joshua here is saying, hey, look, you guys have kept up the good fight. You've been a part of this. You've been faithful to the call. And as a result, you are going to be blessed. I think this is a beautiful moment of Joshua saying, hey, like, guys, you've actually just been faithful in what God's told you to do. Not like Joshua doesn't say here, oh, you were the best, you were the most talented, you were this, that, the other. He just said, hey, you guys have just lived up to what God has done. God has told you to do. And Joshua here is giving off this sense of pride. And I think a proudness that comes from God when we are faithful. God looks towards us as his children. He definitely looked towards these people as his children. And what he's saying here, what Joshua is saying here is, hey, you guys were faithful, and we're stoked about that. We're proud of you for what you've done. And now we're finishing it up. You're relieved of your duties. Go home, be with your families, go and spend time. Look, we'll dive more into this. We'll get more into this particular story and maybe some lessons that we can glean from this in our day today.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
We're talking about the sacrifice that the Gadites and the half of the tribe of the Manassites and the Reubenites did in really being far from their families across the Jordan for 6 or 7 years roundabout, and really helping the Israelites, their brethren, fight the wars. You know what? There's one interesting thing that happens in the book of Joshua, Lawson.
Yeah.
That the book of Joshua, we don't hear is the Israelites murmuring.
Yeah.
You see them murmuring and complaining about things and doing, oh no, I can't believe, like all around the book of Exodus, about Numbers, Deuteronomy, everywhere. In Joshua, when they were like all working, fighting in the battles of the Lord, they're just content. They're not murmuring. They're not complaining about anything.
Yeah.
Isn't that a great thing? I think that's how it should be. I think that when a church has everybody active and they're all pressing together for the common goal, there's definitely less space for murmuring and, gossiping and all these kinds of things.
I agree with you literally up until verse 10 of this particular chapter, which we're going to be getting into in the coming days.
At least so far.
So far. Literally verse 10 of this chapter, from verse 10 on, there's murmurings and confrontation.
At least we got 22 chapters of break.
we got 20. We got like 6 years in.
That's the point. As fighting the battle for the Lord stops, boom, the murmuring starts. Yep. Maybe that's the point. Maybe that's the lesson.
It begins. Hey, we're going to be covering that tomorrow. But right now, producer Shell, we need a quiz answer and a quiz question, please.
All right. I stumped you guys with this one. I would have to say that one got both my husband and my son, who consider themselves pretty big Bible scholars as well. So they thought the exact same thing as you guys, that it was C, but it was not C. It was not Isaac and Rebekah. It was Abraham and Isaac. When we first hear the word love.
In the Bible.
Yeah.
In the Bible.
Wow.
Yeah, nice. Now that's right. Once I gave the wrong answer, it just occurred to me exactly the passage. It's when God talks to Abraham. Abraham, take up your son Isaac, the one whom you love. Isn't that the passage?
That's right.
And offer him to me
your
as a
only
sacrifice.
son whom you love, or something like that. Yeah.
Which is very fitting, because this is a parable. This is a symbol, a type of the relationship between God the Father and Jesus. So it would only be very fitting that the first the first allusion to the word of love is from a father to the son, in the context of offering that beloved son as a sacrifice too.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, what's our next quiz question?
Okay, our last one. A little bit easier. I think you guys are going to get this one, so make it a speed test. Who sought to destroy the Jews in the time of Queen Esther? We got a correct answer already. Skafy's zipping. He's using those techniques you taught him, Lawson.
Wait,
and he got in there very quick. Very good. Okay. 0491064669. Lawson just can't think of
You
the
got a
guy's
mind blank.
name. There you go.
Yeah,
Yep.
Look, I knew it. I was
Yeah.
just trying to think of the right letter. I was trying to spell it right.
Okay.
And I still spelled it wrong, I think. Or maybe I did spell it right. I don't know.
Let me see it.
I said this.
Yeah, you spelt it wrong.
Yeah.
You got the first letter wrong, which is bad.
Yeah. That's
Who sought to...
Is that how you spell it, Lawson?
This is what I was worried about, guys.
Yeah. Okay, who
It's
sought
not
to
a Japanese
destroy...
food.
Yeah.
Who sought to destroy the Jews in the time of Queen Esther? That's our question. 0491064669.
What did you say? It's not a Japanese food. Guys, it's not sushi. It's
It's not noodle. Not a kind of Asian noodles.
yeah, it's not it's not sashimi. It's not I can't think of any more Japanese foods. But anyways, yeah, it's none of those things. If you know the answer, 0491 064 669 is the number to text. You're listening to The Breakfast Show here on Faith FM. And we have been reading in Joshua 22, first beginning with this, I love this, just this strong affirmation from Joshua that, hey, you guys have been faithful to your duty as a needle to the pole, which is a little bit of an expression that essentially means, a needle to the pole is, the needle of a compass to pointing north. You guys have been faithful like this. And then he says here, I want to pick it up in verse 5, which we already read, but he sends them back. He says, guys, you've been really faithful through the battles, through the war. You've been willing to leave your family and your flocks and your comfortability to come and to fight and to live on the other side of the Jordan with us as we're fighting. Do you want to read first verse 5 again?
Yeah. Joshua says this: only be very careful to observe the commandment and the law which Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you. To love the Lord your God and walk in all his ways and keep his commandments and hold fast to him and serve him with all your heart and with all your soul.
If I read this in isolation, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's fair. Like that's a fair, that's a quote that we could take out of this story and just like, you could just say to someone or send to someone, this is what the Bible says to people is be faithful. But in this particular context, like it gives a certain feel of they've actually done the wrong thing when they've actually been doing the right things. Yet there's this encouragement or this warning, I should say.
It's a warning, but an encouragement as well, isn't it?
I would agree that it's both, but isn't the track record of these guys so far like faithfulness, willingness to help, willingness to get stuck in? Imagine like you were doing a job for someone and let's pick something. Let's say you were sawing wood, right? And you've like sawed all this wood, you've chopped all this wood for someone into perfect, like they said, each plank I want a meter long. And so you've gone like plank by plank, meter by meter by meter by meter. And it's, it's perfect. And you've given them the planks and they're like, wow, you've done such a good job. But make sure next time you make it 1 meter long, and you're like, isn't that what I just did?
No, I hear you. So you're saying here, look, does Joshua need to remind them of do the right things, the things that they already know they have to do anyway,
and
that they have been doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why? I'm just thinking like, Lawson, are you reading this into the story? But I would say there's a particular reason. Like there's a particular reason why Joshua is saying this. And that is because, and we're going to see this in like from verse 10 onwards. Okay. And you kind of alluded to this before our last song, before our last break, is that, man, when things get easy, when things get easy, when you let your foot off the gas, it's easy for things to fall apart, particularly morally and spiritually for these people here. You know, I know it's like another, we could take this into a lot of different areas of life. You know, my mind goes to like in terms of something that's really seasonal and has ons and offs and is very intensive. My mind goes to sport in particular, and there are some players that come back from the off season fit and ready to go, and there's some players that come back really, you know, they've taken their summer break a little bit too far. This is like a thing in basketball. You had like Shaquille O'Neal versus Kobe Bryant, and Kobe Bryant would come to come into training camp before the season starts, like fit as he's been training all summer, he's ready to start, and Shaq would come like overweight to the point where they needed to put a clause in his contract to say like your body fat has to be under this percentage and da da da. Like no person in NBA history has had to have those stipulations except for Shaq, because when the foot got let off the gas, it got let off hard. Like
because when you're relaxing, sometimes the temptation is because there's a continuum of relaxing versus becoming lazy.
That's right. Yeah.
And they're not very far apart from each other.
The line can be quite blurry sometimes.
Who has not experienced that? Yes.
You're absolutely.
Resting. You're going on your holidays. You know, you're looking after your diet, your nutrition, your exercise, your devotions with God. The moment that you go on a holidays, everything just goes.
Everything struggles, bro. Dude, I'm literally.
And first, look, just for 1-2 days. I just need a space of a breather. But before you see it, like the entire holiday is just like you come back like fatter as never before, and like you don't even remember where the book of Genesis was in the Bible. And
I don't know about that, dude, but I really concur. You know, I think of in 2023, I was getting like a really bad foot injury from running, and the doctor told me, "Hey, look, Lawson, you're probably going to need to take 3 weeks off of running." I was like, oh. And at the time, I was like a good running. I was running a lot. Like I was going out doing my 10K, doing my 8K, doing my 10K like every day. He's like, hey, you need to take like a good 3 to 4 weeks. Bruh, I have not laced up the shoes to run since, bro. Like I like this is my experience, and now I can say, you know, I'm in kind of the fitness hole to a level where I'm like, oh, bro, if I go back and run, it's going to be so tough. Like I'm going to have to rebuild everything. Like I've lost it all.
Start from scratch.
Just starting from scratch, basically. Essentially, this encouragement, but also this warning is coming to these guys because Joshua knows the reality of a life without a mission and a purpose. Like, well, the mission and the purpose going from here forward is, hey, be faithful to God, look after your families, build your generations, be a blessing to the world. This is a lot more freeform than the battle that's in front of them that's keeping them, you know, subjugated and oppressed.
And I really want to get into that story because I'm curious, but it reminds me a lot of that. See, there's a quote from C.S. Lewis, and C.S. Lewis says, we as humans are more often, we more often need reminding than instructing. So like when we're reading, because we're just like, oh, you know, I went to the church and I watched through a sermon of Pastor Lawson, but you know what? There's nothing new there. So all the stories I knew already. I knew all the application points. There's nothing new to me. And C.S. Lewis saying, hey, actually, that's a great thing, because in our spiritual walk, we need way more reminding of things that we already know. Yeah. But make sure that we are practicing them than to like learn new things. Because usually we get excited when you're like, wow, this is so new. This is amazing. Yeah. But as we say, look, beware.
I want to say something controversial right now. Usually the people that have the problems with the quote unquote reminder are the people who generally are actually lacking in that area. Right? Usually the people that are doing that particular thing, let's say you preach a sermon on repentance. The people that are actually really into it, they're the one, and that are doing it will usually be the ones that come up to you and say, oh, I really needed to hear that. I've been going on a journey with this lately. This has been a big part of my life, and this has really strengthened my resolve in this area. The people that are like, I've heard this before.
Another sermon on repentance.
I've heard this before. These are usually the people that aren't doing it, right? They're usually the people that have actually become hardened to that particular practice and that aren't engaging in it. Maybe what I'm saying this morning, radio friend, is convicting to you. Maybe you're like, oh man, I kind of have that attitude.
Yeah. And I wish that your parishioners are so many. Like the people say, you know what, Pastor Lawson, I'm so thankful that you share this message on repentance. I know it's from the Lord. And it might as well be that the Lord wanted you to listen to that exact message. Not so much necessarily for what you're going through right now, but perhaps for something that you're going to go through this following week.
Yeah.
And you need to be sharp and ready to recognize that and be able to repent straight away when that something happens. So
yeah,
I hear you.
Yeah, I kind of had this experience on the weekend. I preached a sermon. It was focusing in on Luke chapter 6 and Jesus' miracles on the Sabbath and the way that Jesus talks about the Sabbath. Me and my wife have been reading through Luke together. And so we've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. And my wife come up to me out of the sermon, and out of everyone in the room, I thought she would get the least out of it because we've already talked about it. And she come up to me, she's like, oh, Lawson, I usually, my wife, she's usually not privy to the things that I'm preaching, and not because I don't like to include it, but it's just like she likes being surprised on a Sabbath morning,
Yeah.
And she was just like, that was powerful, Lawson. I'm like, why? Like, we've talked about this so much, we've talked about this over and over and over again, but she got to have that internalized experience of she's in it right now. And so to hear something, it's legit.
Nice.
Anyways, hey, let's jump in and read from verse 7 to verse 9 here. We've been given this encouragement and also this warning coming from Joshua to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and half the tribe of Manasseh. Let's pick it up in verse 7. We'll read through to verse 9.
Okay. Now, to the 1/2 tribe of Manasseh, Moses had given a possession in Bashan. But to the other half, Joshua gave a possession among their brothers westward beyond the Jordan. So, when Joshua sent them away to their tents, he blessed them and said to them, return to your tents with great riches and with very much livestock, with silver, gold, bronze, iron, and with very many clothes. Divide the spoil of your enemies with your brothers. The sons of Reuben and the sons of Gad and the half tribe of Manasseh returned home and departed from the sons of Israel at Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan, to go to the land of Gilead, to the land of their possession, which they had possessed according to the command of the Lord through Moses.
Okay, so now we're seeing a little bit of, this is very much a Joshua-esque passage here, which is Joshua sends the groups of people back sends them to this land, to this land, to this land.
Take all the livestock with silver, gold. Like, we cannot repay you enough for all that you've done. Just take it, divide the spoil. You guys deserve it.
Yeah. Let me just ask a question. This is going to be preempting tomorrow's study. Let's say me and you and Shell, we did a group project. And let's say, you guys, we did a group project, and the area where we had to work on the group project, let's say it's here in the studio. Okay. And let's say I was living right outside the door, and let's say Shell was living around here as well. And let's say Skafy, you were coming in from, let's say 30 minutes away. And let's say there was an overseer on this particular group project. Okay. And we do the group project. We all chip in about as much as we can. We have various responsibilities. We get to the end. We did a good job. And the leader, the group leader, the group boss of that project goes, okay, right. You know what? I'm going to give you all rewards. Lawson and Shell, because you guys were close, to the place where we were doing the group project. I'm going to give you $100. But Skafy, I'm going to give you $1,000 because you had to drive in an extra 30 minutes, Now, from the outset here, you could feel like, oh man, I
very
mean,
unfair.
you'd be stoked, but maybe
I
there'd
don't know
be
if I would be
feelings,
stoked, but like,
there'd be feelings welling up in us of like, why does he deserve that?
Yeah.
Why does he deserve to get this? You know, we're going to be seeing some of these feelings coming out in tomorrow's study, so stay tuned for that.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
And we're going to get an answer to the quiz question as well. I'm presuming, producer Shell?
I don't know. Maybe we should just leave everybody hanging this time.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, sweet.
No, we always want to give a good answer to a good question. So who sought to destroy the Jews in the time of Queen Esther? That was Haman, not Naaman.
Not Naaman, but Haman.
Oh, you said Naaman. I thought you said Raman.
You're just confusing the two.
I was just trying to look for
I
the
can do
letter.
that too.
Yeah.
I thought you said ramen.
Ramen, yeah. Shout out the Japanese,
Yeah.
dude. I love a good ramen,
Amen.
bro. So ramen is one of those things that like I would eat all the time, except my wife is gluten free, and so we need to kind of like the regular noodles kind of thing. You can't go that route,
Well, but can't they do like with rice noodles or something that's gluten free?
bro. You can't. I mean, you can, but it's never as good. It is like never, ever, 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 ever as good. But you can still do it. Like we still do it. It's
Yeah, I mean,
And but this is
That's
the
what you
thing.
can do.
I would rather eat a soup noodle dish that was intended for rice noodles rather than one that wasn't. And what I mean by that is go and eat some Vietnamese pho, dude. It is like the bomb. Have you eaten Vietnamese food before?
yeah, I love it.
Dude, it's like I love it because it's so fresh. It's like
I love it, but this
super
is like,
fresh.
I only really know one dish, which is the pho.
Yeah. Well, it's pho, rice paper rolls.
Yeah, okay.
Rice paper rolls. Banh mi.
mi.
Oh, come on,
Yeah,
bro.
no, banh mi is
Banh
nice.
mi is yummy, bro. There's really good,
Lemongrass and
Yeah.
tofu with it. Yeah, it's very good.
Come on. We're salivating in the studio, and hopefully you are salivating as well if you haven't eaten breakfast yet. But hey, you've been listening to The Breakfast Show. The answer to that quiz question, of course, was Haman. We have been talking in the book of Joshua, and I think, look, just to close things out on this first segment, we've got a bit of a cliffhanger for tomorrow, but just to close things out for this first segment, man, affirming people goes a long way. Like telling people that they've done a good job and that you're like proud of them for the effort that they're trying to put in. Hey, giving people like a necessary, kick or not like a physical one.
Yeah,
but
a recognition,
if people need
a recognition for their effort.
100%.
Particularly if they really went above and beyond.
Yeah.
I like Joshua because Joshua is a great. There's a couple of books in the Bible that are great to learn about leadership. Nehemiah is one of them. You and I, we spoke about that before. And the second one is Joshua. Joshua is such a good leader. Like he's the guy that is saying, look, whatever you give to me the last piece of the land. Like eaters eat last kind of mentality. So that's been really good. And then the second thing, leaders value the contributions of people who really went above and beyond.
Yeah.
So he's coming to these guys and says, look, guys, just what do you want? Like you just take it, whatever you want. Like I actually want you to go back rich. Because like you sacrificed 6-7 years of your life. I mean, think of that. I have a 5-year-old son. Imagine like I see my son at 5-year-old. Next time I see him again, it's like he's 11. It's like a different kid.
Yeah.
And you lost all of this time because you're fighting the fights for others. It was no small sacrifice.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. You were fighting the fights for others. Your land was already secured, right? Like on the other side of the Jordan, everything that you had was already sweet.
And your wives back then, they were paying the price as well by not having the husbands around at home. So they had to cope with a whole lot of things. And Joshua like recognized the sacrifice of others and says, he didn't say, look, you guys just did what you have to do, or you just did, he didn't just say, look, your reward will be in heaven.
Yeah.
He said, look, guys, look, take everything here. Like, what is it that you want from the land? Do you want livestock? You take them. These guys already had a loss. Look, take more. You want silver? Here. Gold, bronze, iron, clothes.
Take whatever you like. Yeah. Just take it.
Yeah.
I think of it like this. This is actually a conversation that I find myself having with especially young people who endeavor to do things for the Lord. And usually, like, you know, when they're making, particularly young people who make big decisions, you know, to leave their home, to leave their place of comfort, to do something for God. And I feel like this is a conversation that I could have with anyone, but I find myself particularly in these situations because then often those young people find themselves in situations of, you know, they've had some kind of failure or a setback, whatever, and, you know, oh man, I'm one of the worst at this, like beating up on yourself as a result of failing or setbacks or whatever it may be. And I found myself in a number of times, like in those conversations with young people who are just like, I'm terrible. Like, you know, this is a young person, 18-year-old, 19 years old, who's left their home to not get paid very much to do something for God. And they're like, I'm such a terrible, bad person. I'm so terrible because I had this failure, whatever it may be. And I find myself often standing in front of them saying, you know, God is proud of you, right? Like, you know, God is actually pleased with the decisions that you're making in your life, like that you're prioritizing Him in your youth rather than anything else. Like, God is actually proud of you for what you're doing, and these failures He wants to help you with. And it's interesting. Like, I feel like every single time I've had that conversation, I've had people cry in front of me. I've had people, you know, like just in a sense beside themselves, like realizing that, wait, actually God is happy that I try. Like, God is stoked with my effort. Yeah, sure, there's more that you can do. There's more that you can achieve, but God is actually proud of me. God is looking at me like a proud dad when I'm endeavoring to do things for Him. Yeah, He is. He is. And I think this is one of those moments of really, you know, Joshua just letting it be known to these people, like, God is proud of you. And by the way, I'm gonna reward you as well, like in a very physical sense. But today we might not receive these kinds of rewards, but we need to know that God is proud of us for doing that kind of work, and He has a greater reward for us in heaven. Guys, we want you to experience that reward. Talk faith, live faith, and act faith.
God be with you till we meet again. God be with you till we meet again.
Thanks for being a part of the Faith FM family. Join our community on Facebook or get in touch at 1-800-FAITH-FM.